Hey guys, it is late right now, but I'm going to be doing a review on the Shure KSC 1500, the new electrostat IEMs that everyone has been talking about, or a few people have at least. Short and skinny of it, this is an electrostat IEM, so there's, like stacks and other stuff. There's a little electrostat driver in there that makes sound, and it works at least. Um, this is a proof that the technology is very much possible and implementable. And Stacks already has their electrostat IMs, and those are got some reception. And these now are entry from a larger audio company. Shure is a bigger, badder audio company. So maybe we'll see more. Maybe we'll see other companies, maybe a Sennheiser or a Sony or etc. Trying to enter the market with electrostat IMs. Who knows? But the fact that you could sell them for their price make them attractive, because this thing goes for $3,000, and that's the whole system, which is the IM and the amp. Well, it's more than an amp. It does do a few different things. We'll get into that. So for $3,000, I think you get a high quality product. This is a premium product. It shows in everything. The cable, the connector is very nice. I like this is a proprietary connector, obviously, but it is a nice connector. The cable's very sturdy. It's just the right length. I'm glad they didn't make it any longer, but it's just the right length. I like the over the ear sports strap thing. That is my preferred IM wearing style. Just more secure. So those who aren't familiar with the Shure bores, right? So the Shure bores are probably, it's the universal, obviously, so you can roll different tips, but the Shure bores are more narrow than what I remember most IM bores, which are wider. So I think most any of their classic tips, and I think most of their tips will work. Obviously, their own tips will work, but I'm using the Etymotic Triflange tips, which also work and have the same dimension. And I'll get into more into why in a moment. But overall, very high quality product. That's just the physicals. The amp, it's this amp energizer EQ box. It's also a DAC, I guess. It's very high quality. It feels weighty. You got your little knob. What's not to like? I've only played around with it a bit, and I haven't played too much into the EQ settings, but they're effective. They certainly work. And for the purposes of my listening, I did most of my listening on external DAC, AMB Gamma 1.5 into the line input of this. I did briefly listen to the USB, and it worked natively. I'm glad. On my Linux box or my Linux machine, I was able to just plug and play and get sound out. So no drivers there. If I need Windows, I'd probably need drivers. So, but I'm not going to bother exploring all the I/O possibilities. That's beyond the scope of this review. So as to the sound, the Shures have their sound, right? It seems to me that all the Shure products, headphones, mics, IMs, are all tuned toward a certain sound. That's what some people often call the liquid mids. The Shures have a liquid mids that is oh so euphonic, or they have a warm mid, or I'm not sure how else you want to put it, but I think liquid mid is the most appropriate word for what's going on with these Shure IMs. And I think the KSC 1500 takes that liquid mids to like the 8th degree. It's got that sound. It's got that Shure sound. I personally despise it, and that was the biggest problem for me with just trying to listen to these IMs. To describe the liquid mid sound in more detail, I'd say it's like almost imagine your singer or imagine your vocalist takes a good like a good like 2 meters back from the mic. Except you can still hear everything he's saying, but he's just all hollow now and distant, and you can still hear everything he's saying. The vocal is still there, and it's not sucked out in the sense that things are being removed, although you could say they are. It's just liquefied. That's what I thought. That's why I think the term liquid mids is appropriate. It liquefies your music. So that is the first thing. Yeah, like I said, the first thing that stood out to me and that I did not like. For those who are thinking this is an electrostat and it's small, so how is it going to have bass? Well, it has pretty good bass. The bass on these was satisfying. It has a nice, warm, full body bass. Not too much bass. There are certainly IMs in today's market that tend towards a overtly offensive bassy sound, and this isn't it. It's just got a warmth to the bass, and it's there. It's not overdone. I can enjoy it for what it is. From there, you kind of get once you kind of hear past that liquid mold. To say the treble first. First of all, I found the like I said before, I found the Etymotic Tri-Flanges to be the best tips, as they gave me the smoothest treble. I felt the treble could otherwise be peaky with the other tips, and it's still peaky with it. It doesn't fix it completely, but it is smoother, I think, with these guys. So I'd recommend people at least try that, or at least try whatever tips you have available, and there's plenty included in the box. So do that until you find something that's maybe more agreeable to counter that brightness. But there is a certain brightness to these IMs. Once it's so hard, because with these Shores, that liquid mid coloration tends to you have to kind of try to hear past it, and it's hard. So technicality, I guess, talking about sound stage, it's decent for an IM, but it's an IM. Overall clarity and speed, talk about these things. I don't know. I don't think it's particularly fast or clear. I mean, the fact that you have what is almost I'm not sure if it'll show up as a mid-range suck out. I'm not sure how the liquid mid coloration manifests itself exactly, but so it's not particularly clear when you have a vocalist that seems to be liquefied, like put in a blender, So I don't think this is that technical feat in terms of an IM. I've heard other IMs where I felt things were more clear and more dynamic, so that's a count against the Shores. These were refined, they had what I would deem a refined, that liquid sound is refined, so I think people will enjoy them for that reason. Other than that, like I said, I can't recommend these. They're just not. They're not what I expect in like a $3,000 or really any IM. I want a bit more truthfulness and honesty and overall detail resolution. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully you guys found the review useful, and let me know what you think. For anyone who's tried it, I'm curious to see what else other people are thinking about it. Other than that, have a nice day.